All India Trinamool Congress AITC-ni National General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee, Budbar salo Shillong Latchumiere-o Meghalaya TMC Office-ko nokdonggae o angaha. Ia Meghalaya TMC Office-ko nokdonggae o nani somoio, TMC MLA-rang, MDC-rang, parti-ni dilgiparang aro banga TMC-na chakgiparang bakko angaha.
We welcome now Honorable General Secretary Shri Abhishek Banerjee and request him to kindly inaugurate the office today by the student.
TMC Office-ko nokdonggae o nangani jamano TMC Party Worker-rang State Central Library Shillong-o thokmaniko ngatangaha. Endake ia thokmanio AITC-ni General Secretary dalbatgipa sokoba ong-e jenmana akan prakangingon anga Meghalaya na rebae kusi ba ong-a pulsara dukpa ong-a. Angni kusi ong-ani ara Meghalaya o political event Shillong-o onggabarangoni endake mande banga dongkuja ian skanggapa mande banganiko nekke blongen kusi ong-aha. Endiba changsathai dukpa ong-aha. Maina chela oni rebagba manderangna chunga geta biaprangko onna manjaha uni gemen anga duk onga khasaphai chakchik phachina khemako bia iarang plakan state leadership ni ia nambegpa program ko organize khani na simangni dilgiparang ko blongen methelang ha anga iarang ko gisakrai songthangchi reang phulgen aro anga blongen khadonga gnang mukhangchi namgpa result rangko mana khadonginga negwa agananga ha Meghalaya ko namani gemen mungsinga Meghalaya ni mandirang mamang salo ba Delhi aro Gujarat to donging ga dilgiparang ni mukhango tu bamjawa maina anching sakantian masia Delhi aro Gujarat to donging ga BJP sorkari anching North East khopangna neglect kha uni gaman anching anda ka ba party na mukhangchi namga ba reply ko unna nangchong mota neba agananga ha jensalo AITC Meghalaya o napaha aro Meghalaya o achia ha Dr.Mukul sangma Charles Pingrop aro wandake plak MLA-rang ya AITC yo join kha namgapa decision ko raha aro namgapa jakhu deani ko takaha maina ia namgija gapa communal force ene jekhon akan ginchem BJP aro wamang baksa bakram gapa dolrang ko dakrakna ia nambat gapa chol ha da alo nasimangni dilgiparang nasimangni Meghalaya adoko sason khagen aro ia sasonni khamrang ko khaingon Kolkata ba West Bengal ni iano mamang bajak tungjawa neba ua akananga ha Endiba BJP kumutan ua party rang jerangan Delhi aro Gujarat to donga wan BJP ko maksonga ua dolang badiaba salo rebae agana mangenma jehan ambono sorkari gita lekna manode anchuni mamung role dongja ne claim khana mangenma manjawa endiba TMC angana simangna agananginga makhangchi hajagani kolga tham basiyo sorkari rikchong motgen endiba TMC sorkari riken smoba Kolkata ba West Bengal yano mamung bajak tongjawa nasimangni siyoke watatgaba leader rangan nasimangni state o chief minister aro minister onggen aro nasimangko sason khagen Dr.Mukul sangma ia adoko achigaba bini gandalko yanon gopa son of the soil Charles Pingrop ba son of the soil yano achigaba aro wandake nasimangni MLA-rang gemakan sons of the soil yano achigaba rangan unga uni gemen nasimang mamang kenchakani dongja Wamangan makhangchi asongko redilgen aro jatko chelchakanggen AITC party jehan black gapa party communal force BJP aro wamang baksa bakram gapa dolrangko dakrake amchep chepaten ba khamchi saki ko onaha uni gemen asimang sakantian BJP ko dakrakna jak onrembo aro ya BJP Congress NPP UDP aro dengthang dolrang gemakan apsan kucholsan onge anchingni adok ko nusto khainga endiba TMC party sanjok jehan wamang baksa bakramja anga Dr.Mukul sangma ko mthela aro un baksa bakram gapa gubban state ni leader rang ko anga mthela maina wamang namgapa jakhu de ani ko dakaha aro wandake namgapa chanchi ani ko dake AITC ko idlanggen dalo MDC sorkari ko chalaeng gaba NPP aro uni dilgiparang chief minister aro gubban dilgiparang jat na dakrakani phal BJP baksa bakram skhainga BJP ni perfect Delhi donggaba BJP leader rang na antangko tubame aro bamgope onna jatni phalo dakrakani phal one uni godfather biagri ua cholija uni gaman khapong coward ua jatko mamung saloba chelchakna manjawa uni gaman mukhangchi anching chelchakna mangi jagba sorkari ko mukhangchi ragale galna nanggen ane AITC dilgiba Abhishek Banerjee agananga ha dalo anching nikna matninga ia Meghalaya state o mai onginga covid samatungo anchingni mai onga COVID samatungo COVID positive na mandirang kina endiba medical scientist rang research ka ai vaccine ko invent ka jok Covishield ko vaccine sujok mai na COVID oni naljok na apsan dake Meghalaya ni content ko niya to de NPP sorkari yarang COVID aru yako warachakna gaba AITC ara Covishield geta cha onga. Uni gaman da alo AITC leader rang gemek absan kumonge kam kagen aru yako na simangna kurachake donang nas kinga mekhang hajal geni kolga ketam besio AITC sorkari kerka ongode Meghalaya adoko donggaba sakanti ko chelchaken aru inch sa jakphasa ba Meghalaya ni aako darang ba onjawa yako chelchakna kurachake donanginga. Meghalaya election jaman AITC sorkari reken sawarang yano sason kagen na simang chi siyoka ko mangeba na simang ni dilgiparang Meghalaya-o achi kapkeba jekon na simang siyoke watatken guamangsa Meghalaya adok ko sason kagen yano Kolkata ni ba West Bengal ni mamang bajak tungjawa na simang ni mandian na simang ni state ko sason kagen ene Banerjee aganang dapangaha na simang ni mandian na simang ni state ko sason kagen ene Banerjee aganang dapangaha.
We have been very clear about what we want to achieve, and we have conveyed the same to our colleagues and workers present in the meeting today. AITC is a national party, but it's a national party with regional ethos. Trinamool Congress is going to put its entire might and contest the upcoming assembly elections in all 60 seats. And like you all know, we have launched a membership drive today, and we are asking and appealing to every Meghalayan who wants to be associated and who are desperately looking for the change. You have to take the baton on yourself, and you have to take it on you and make sure that the proxy NPP government is defeated in the months to come. So Trinamool Congress today has launched a membership drive. We are asking everyone to call it 96877 96877 and associate with yourself with the Trinamool Congress. We have launched this membership drive amid the crisis and the carnage that the state is facing, because we want more and more people from every nook and corner of the state to associate with Trinamool Congress to make sure that we are able to stand with every Meghalayan in this time of crisis. You will not find Trinamool Congress in your times of happiness and joy, but we will stand with every person residing in the state. We will stand with them shoulder to shoulder and make sure that we are able to cater to them, especially in the time of distress and crisis. And proper relief materials are reaching them time to time, and our workers are being actively able to associate themselves to stand by them shoulder to shoulder in this time of crisis. See, both states are completely different. I think every state has its own ethos and heritage and culture. Obviously, after winning Bengal, we went to other states. We went to Goa, we went to Tripura, we went to Assam, we have stepped into Meghalaya. But losing a battle in in a different state doesn't mean that we will not come as a democratic party. We have every right to come and ask for people's support. It is up to the people. It depends on their prerogative, their wisdom, their intelligence, and their understanding whether they want to elect a political party which will put its entire weight and ready to take on the proxy BJP government head on, or they will ultimately be helping the BJP. So the narrative lies on them. Depends on them. BJP lost West Bengal for that matter. That didn't stop BJP from entering into states like Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Tripura, or for that matter Meghalaya. Losing an election in a state is a completely different story. Every state is different. As a democratic party, as the world's largest democracy, we have got every right to go and appeal to the people. It is ultimately to the people to decide what is best in their interest. So we have come to Meghalaya, like we have seen in the month of November. Mr. Charles Springrove, Dr.Mukul and 12 MLAs, including them, joined hands with Trinamool Congress. Because they had the fire in their belly, they wanted to take on the NPP proxy BJP government head on, and the platform was missing. So Trinamool is the right platform. We are the only political party in the country who has not cowed down to their agency threats and their tantrums and fancies. We are at the ground. We are taking BJP head on. We could have entered into another state where Congress is in power. We haven't gone. We are only going to stay where a credible alternate to the ruling BJP dispensation is missing. We have stepped into Tripura, we have stepped into Meghalaya. A credible opposition is missing. And it is the opposition's job to hold the present incumbent government accountable, to make sure that the government is able to operate remaining within the ambits of constitution, that the government is able to keep on its poor promises, that the government is able to cater to the most poorest of poor of the state. The government is able to cater, and every person in the state has the access to the best healthcare facilities of the educational system. So this is also the role of the opposition to make the government accountable and show its place. If they do anything wrong, they will be taken to task. That is the role All India Trinamool Congress is playing. And like I said, every state is different. So it's better that we leave it to the judgment of the people of this state to decide what is best in their interest. So what has they done? Just by signing an MOU, do you think a dispute has been put to rest? It's not the case. Who has they consulted? Was anyone consulted on the ground? People who actually fought for this land, who fought for the statehood, who actually lived as Meghalayans for their life, who lived as Meghalayans, who died as Meghalayans, will now have to live at the mercy of another state. This is a matter of immense shame. He has never consulted anyone in the ground. He is surrendering Meghalaya's land to another state. People who lived as Meghalayans for their entire life will have to live as a resident of another state. What can be more shameful than this? Election is always fought on principles. I would like to correct you. Election is always fought on principle. And the party's principle is the people's interest. If BJP is controlling and drawing up the strings from Delhi through NPP in Meghalaya, we will hold them accountable and we will take them head on. That was the role of the opposition, which was missing all these years and all these months in Meghalaya, and we have shown them their place. Meghalayans will not be cowed down and they will not be a second-class citizens in their own state. So elections are fought on principles and elections are fought on values, ethics. Trinamool Congress will do. I am not an astrologer, ma'am. I will target all 60 seats. Trinamool Congress will put its entire weight behind the state unit of Meghalaya. We will put our entire vigor and might and blitz to make sure that we are able to contest all 60 seats and emerge victorious in all of them.
Will you have a pre-poll alliance?
It's too early to predict, but we are, as a progressive force, we are open. If some like-minded parties wants to collaborate, I think we are open to that. But again, putting all the speculation to rest, I must tell you that Trinamool Congress is determined to fight all the 60 assembly constituencies in Meghalaya. So if some MLAs join Trinamool Congress thinking that they might be getting a ticket to contest, our first and foremost priorities are the interest of the people residing in this state. And if someone can align with the party's ethics, values and party's ideologies and keep their self-interest aside and people's interest foremost, I think we are ready to welcome any of such individuals who belongs to some other party. And if someone who doesn't align to that ideology and principles is open to go to some other political party. So we are not here to accommodate an individual based on his own self-interest. If someone has any self-interest and someone has any agenda, he wants to accommodate and put his own interest above the party's principle, party's ideologies and people's interest. It's a democratic country, he is free to do whatever he wants. You are asking how confident am I? As a General Secretary, I am 100% confident.
No, I mean, what's your party like?
Yes, what do you expect by looking at the crowd and the enthusiasm that is being on display since morning? I am surprised to see that people have gathered in such large numbers. This only speaks volumes about the anti-incumbency that the NPP government has developed against itself. So I am 100% optimistic and I am quite confident. Rest, as I said, in a democracy, people is the last word. We should leave it to their wisdom and judgment, and as you rightly pointed, BJP has been talking about this double engine model government, the double engine model of governance. Now NPP is in NDA. The Prime Minister belongs to NDA. The Chief Minister belongs to NDA. We have a BJP government at the center and we have an NDA government in the state. But look at the healthcare facilities, look at the infrastructure, look at the educational system. An abode of clouds has turned into a heaven of corrupts. This is extremely shameful. So we will make sure that we are able to bring back the lost glory of Meghalaya and every Meghalayans live their life with utmost dignity and respect in the days to come. So when people decide that we have to come together and collaborate in the larger interest of the state, this kind of thing becomes inconsequential and irrelevant. BJP had used so much amount of money in Bengal elections, you all have seen, to create a media hype, to create a momentum, to create attraction in their favor, which was not at all organic. So money helps you to some extent, but it's not enough to win the confidence of the people. In a democracy, people are the last word. They're using money, they're using unethical way, they're indulging into unethical horse trading every now and then. We're also seeing what's happening in states like Maharashtra, what happened in states like Madhya Pradesh, what happened in states like Goa before the last election. And this has been their trademark. So they want to use money, we want to go to the people and let people decide whether they want to choose money power or whether they want to choose the manpower. Because we don't believe in token representation. It's simple. AITC will not support something that is unethical. We had a SC president for the last 5 years. Have you seen the president of the country open or utter a word when Hathras occurred? When Unnao occurred? When Lakhimpuri Khedi occurred? Not a word. A president of the country who belongs to the scheduled caste was not invited when foundation stone laying ceremony of Ram Mandir was held. Out of 200 Pandits, one Dalit was not invited. You want to honor the ST community? You address their problems. More than 90% of the cases implicated, those who are implicated in ST cases, 90% of the court cases are pending. You want to address the ST communities? Why are you cutting down on the ST quotas in students, scholarships and all? If you want to address the ST problems, why do you have one after another atrocities in BJP ruled states against the STs? You will see BJP topping the charts, states like Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, and I put this on record. They are topping the charts when it comes to crime against ST. When it comes to crime against ST women. When it comes against crime against ST kids. States like Maharashtra, and this is NCRB's data, not my data. You go and you do a little bit of data digging, you'll find yourself. So what's the point? You want to empower the ST community? You give him or her the absolute independence to work freely. You had a Dalit president who couldn't utter a word, who was not honored when Ram Mandir foundation stone laying ceremony was held. You're talking about now ST representation. You want to play caste dynamics just to serve your own political vested electoral interest. You're not actually interested in uplifting the ST community or doing actual development for them. So Trinamool Congress, whatever I said, let BJP address it. I am telling this on the record. Trinamool Congress will support their candidate. Let them come out and record and say 90% of the ST cases, after the ST president is chosen to power, after the ST president, I have the highest amount of regard for Srimati Draupadi Murmu and her political legacy. But let her also come on record and tell her in 3 months after I'm chosen to office, after I'm voted to power, after I'm elected to the president's office, all 90% those cases will come down to zero. Let her come and say that ST student scholarship will not be reduced. Let her come and say states like Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, who are topping the charts when it comes to atrocities against ST women and ST community, will have zero cases next year onwards. Let her come and say, I will open my mouth and not pay heed to what the government or the Prime Minister or the Home Minister thinks, and will act and will not act as a subservient to the government, and will do to take the government, to make the government accountable and make sure that the government operates remaining within the ambits of constitution. I will work as the true custodian of the constitution. We will support her. Opposition will do their work. Congress was started in Maharashtra. Is Congress a Marathi party? AAP was started in Delhi. Is AAP a Delhi party? So opposition, as I said, we are a national party. National party, the status has been accorded by the Election Commission of India. I am not saying. You go and check with the Election Commission, there are 6 or 7 national parties out of the 1700 political parties in the country. So we are one of them with regional ethos. So opposition will do their job. They will try to label and brand Trinamool as a Bengali party. Obviously we come from Bengal. But I have the guts to put this on record in front of camera. Next time when a BJP, like you're shooting questions to me, with all modesty and humbleness, I will request you, next time a BJP leader comes to the state, you should shoot the same question to him. Like I am putting this on record and saying that in the next 6 months when we have a new government in Meghalaya, Meghalaya will not be ruled from Bengal. Can the BJP leader put this on camera on record that BJP Meghalaya will not be ruled from Delhi or Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra or Gujarat? Let them put this on record. First question, like I said, that every state has its own culture. So the Bengal campaign in the context that you're asking the question is completely different. When we plan like we started the membership drive, when we draw the campaign or formulate the campaign, we will definitely put the right perspective and place the right thought into perspective and design the campaign in that way. But it doesn't have to be in the similar lines like the ones in Bengal. See, something that worked in Bengal is not necessarily it will work in Meghalaya. That's what I'm saying. The mistake that BJP did in Bengal, they thought Bengal is Gujarat. Bengal is not Gujarat. If you think Meghalaya is Bengal, Meghalaya is not Bengal. Every state has its own identity, its own values, its own ethos, its own culture, and its own history. We have to respect that. I don't want to deliberately put something on the people of Meghalaya just because Trinamool Congress is ruling the state of West Bengal. We are empowered in West Bengal, and I think the kind of governance that we have been able to offer, which is quite sustainable and conclusive, we have to offer that same welfare schemes and make the development more sustainable in the long run. Like Mamata Banerjee is empowering every caste creed community, the women, the SC, the ST, everything on the same lines will be planned, incorporated, keeping the culture of Meghalaya, ethics of Meghalaya, ethos of Meghalaya and values of Meghalaya in mind. That the government has failed to keep on its poll promises. So the first and foremost challenge is to make sure that every Meghalayan in the state is exposed, or rather have the access to the best healthcare facilities, to the best education system. When it comes to the welfare schemes, every person, even sitting at the remotest of areas, has the access to the government welfare schemes, and the government delivers them at their doorstep, like we have done in Bengal. The government actually go to your doorstep to deliver the public schemes, the welfare schemes. You don't have to stand in queue. So that is the model of governance Mamata Banerjee has created. That the government will go to your doorstep to deliver the government schemes and the poll promises that it made, whether it's ration, it's healthcare facilities, and every year we will do there will be some mechanism in place to make sure that you're able to get, get the benefits of the welfare scheme that has been announced by the state government.